everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittney, this is the Brittney Reacts Show, and on this show we talk all things movie news, entertainment news. I've been updating you guys about the strikes. I do have a bit of sad update on the strikes today, unfortunately, but we do have some fun stuff to talk about as well. Firstly, The Nun. Not looking like it's gonna do very well, unfortunately. Bad days ahead for that, potentially. Sorry. This is on the wrong one. No. There we go. We also have Five Nights at Freddy's is reportedly only going to be an hour and 50 minutes. What? I thought it was going to be 3 hours. So I guess they heard people's criticisms and they changed things, or maybe that wasn't the final runtime. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the Spiderverse controversy, about how the animators apparently weren't treated well, because we do have a response from Phil Lord. So we're going to talk about that. Sam Raimi might be the Marvel's top choice to direct Avengers Secret Wars, which is very weird and I'm not sure about this, to be honest with you. And then of course we're going to talk about what's going on with Jimmy Fallon. I don't know, is he becoming the next Ellen? We'll discuss. But how are you guys doing? I want to thank everyone who comes here and just sees, like, everyone, like, basically, if you come here every day on time, I really appreciate you. I see you guys already, like, waiting to like, watch the show before it starts, so I just think that's really nice. So thank you for being here, everyone. Hello, Pop. Hi, Semi Charmed. Hi, Natanya. Hi, Connor. Hi, Ayumi? I almost said it right. Hi, Natanya. Hi, Lil Boozy Bert. Hi, Joe. Hi, Nick. Hi, Travis. Hi, Star Film Studios. Hi, CD Woods. Hi, Danny. Hi, everyone who's here. All right. So we're going to hope for a very good, tech issue-free stream, okay? Getting into entertainment news first, though. Let's start with The Nun. Because I know a number of you are excited about it. I've told you guys I'm not, like, super into horror movies. So, honestly, The Nun being at 59%, I think that's actually pretty high. I saw the first Nun movie, and it was easily one of the worst horror movies I've seen. Now, granted, I haven't seen a ton of horror movies. I know there are a lot worse ones out there, but I don't watch them. So, out of the ones that I've seen, I saw the first Nun movie. And I hated it. I hated it so much. And the reason I hated it is because none of the characters, like, I know it's a stereotype that characters in horror movies, they make no sense. Like, they do things that no one in real life would ever do. Like, they intentionally walk into the creepy room, they go into the dungeon, like, stupid stuff, like, they don't have preservation for their lives. Well, the first Nun movie took that concept and just ran with it. Nothing any character in that movie did made any sense to me, because it was like they were always running towards danger. Like, there was literally one scene in the movie where the guy at night goes into a haunted forest, like, by himself, and then he's surprised when he dies. So I'm just like, what did you expect was gonna happen? Like, I don't know. That's a whole little side thing here, but The Nun 2 is not looking like it's gonna be much better. How are you guys feeling about this movie? Are you still excited about it? Yes or no? Mickey says, yeah, I think this is too high. I'm glad you agree with me. Lil Boozy Bert says, I do not want The Nun 2. I'm waiting for Exorcist Believer with the possession occurring in two girls. Creepy. I'm kind of more interested in The Exorcist. I might actually see that one, especially for Halloween. So if I see a horror movie soon, it'll be that one. Natanya's never seen The Nun. Okay. Anyone who's seen the first Nun, you will understand what I'm talking about. None of those characters did anything that made sense, and it really annoyed me. Alright, so it seems most of you are not interested in this. We can move on. So, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. There were rumors that it was going to be 3 hours long. I mean, this is what it was reported. So I think this is, like, they have 3 hours of content that they film. Like, they have a 3-hour movie. But it sounds like they're not going to send all 3 hours to theaters, because you're only going to get an hour and 50 minutes of it. So they took out over an hour from this movie. I actually think from a business sense that makes more sense just because this type of property appeals to like younger people, and I don't think they're gonna want to watch a 3-hour film. So I think this will probably help the movie make more money. But is anyone upset? Did you want the 3-hour cut? How are you guys feeling about the FNAF movie now that it's less than 2 hours? Like, that's a huge, substantial difference. Frank is not interested. Okay. Oh, Danny says, thank God. Okay, so you're very happy about that. Oh, hi, Eric. Thank you for being here. Frank says, looks like a commercial, not a movie. Yeah, I mean, all these movies nowadays are basically just commercials to buy products on the movies, aren't they? Joe says, the scary Chuck E. Cheese guy, WTF. Yeah, that's what the whole thing is. It's like the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics come to life. That's what's creepy about it. Oh, Daddy says, I'll go watch it now. So there's one convert. Yeah, Connor, I agree. 3 hours is very long. So I think this is probably a good move on their part. As I was saying, it made no sense to make this movie 3 hours, so good for them for cutting it down, even though there's going to be a whole extra hour. Maybe they'll put the hour on, like, the DVD or whatever. Yeah, like, if you want the director's cut, put that on the DVD. Moving on. So, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there's been, like, a huge, I don't want to say controversy, but a lot of people, a lot of Marvel fans have been noticing that some of the worst, like, reviewed Marvel projects that have come out lately have all been written by Rick and Morty writers. And a lot of people have been talking about it, have noticed it. If you guys haven't noticed it, well, if you're wondering why Multiverse of Madness was so weird and not great, well, that was written by a Rick and Morty writer. So was Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That was a Rick and Morty writer. And so was She-Hulk, also a Rick and Morty writer. So a lot of people are like, there's like a connection here. Maybe, just maybe, we should stop hiring Rick and Morty writers for the MCU. But it sounds like, according to My Time to Shine, which you guys told me is a she, so thank you, now I know. So again, take this with a grain of salt. I don't know if we can 100% trust them. I don't. But they usually tend to be right by a lot of things, so that's why I'm bringing them up. And apparently, what the rumor now is Kevin Feige is not done with the Rick and Morty writers, even though people keep complaining about them. He plans on using more of them for future projects. I think that's a mistake. I think that that particular style of writing for Rick and Morty just doesn't work for the MCU. I think that has been proven now 3 times. I don't know why he would want to do this. I think that it's a huge mistake. What do you guys think about this? Travis says Rick and Morty is so stupid. I used to like Rick and Morty, actually. Like, the first couple of seasons, like, up until the whole, like, Pickle Rick thing, like, I saw and watched that show through that moment. But when it got to the whole, like, Szechuan sauce, like, McDonald's fiasco moment, I kind of, like, hopped out. Little Boozy Bert says, Rick and Morty sounds like a fast food restaurant. Fast food franchise. Everybody worked there. Well, speaking of the fast food franchise, do you guys remember that Szechuan sauce, like, McDonald's fiasco where people were literally like storming McDonald's for Szechuan sauce just because Rick and Morty talked about it in an episode? Do you remember that? That was crazy times. What were people doing over some Szechuan sauce? McDonald's! That was crazy. Quiet Rabbit says, same on the show, losing me with the Pickle Rick season. Nana says, it's not the writers, it's all the woke stuff and boring characters. I think, honestly, I think Marvel's main issue is the writing. Yeah, they're not really putting enough focus on getting good writers. I think that's a huge issue. But also, I think they've just gotten too expansive. They've got too much on their plate, and I think the overall story has gotten muddied and convoluted and doesn't really make sense anymore. That's what I think Marvel's main issue is right now. So yes, the Rick and Morty thing is a problem. Maybe these other new writers could be better. Who knows? Again, this is just a rumor, but I think it just shows you that maybe they're not always learning from their mistakes. And I don't know, you would think that Marvel would be trying to course correct something fierce right now with how things are going, but it doesn't seem like they're really doing enough, in my opinion. So a little worrisome, a little worrisome. All right, moving on. Coraline. This is just a mini news story, but Coraline recently re-released in theaters, and it made $7.4 million, which is one of the biggest recent re-releases. And I know a lot of you guys had been mentioning this to me, so I am bringing this up. I wanted to see it here, but I couldn't find any theater here in New York that played this. Maybe I just wasn't looking hard enough, but I actually wanted to see it. I just couldn't find it. So this was a very, very limited release. So, yeah, this is pretty good. Anyone actually see Coraline in theaters when it did the re-release? I know it must have been like a small number, but for $7.4 million, that's pretty substantial. In fact, I recently saw Jurassic Park in theaters because they just did a re-release, and that only made $2 million in its opening weekend. So Coraline should feel pretty good that it made more in its re-release than Jurassic Park did. I think that's pretty neat. Anyone else curious about Coraline? I really hope they keep doing this, like re-releasing old films in theaters. I've kind of been enjoying it. Because I also saw Titanic when it re-released in theaters. Eric says, sadly, it's not available in Romania. Would have loved to have seen it. Yeah, I think it was a very, very limited release, like only here in the US. Nicholas says, not seeing any re-releases around here either. Would have loved to see Jurassic Park otherwise. Yeah, I don't know why. They should really do these re-releases bigger and actually advertise them, because I feel like there is a market for people who would want to see older films in theaters again. Nicholas says, which theater was that? It was the AMC 25, the one in Times Square. Ayu Yumi says, I wanted to see it, but I was late. Oh, I'm sorry. That sucks. I hope they bring it back. I really do. Alright. Oh, Calvin, you also watched the Titanic re-release. Yeah, I never got to see Titanic in theaters, obviously, so this was really cool for me, since Titanic is, like, one of my all-time favorite movies. So seeing Titanic in theaters, I was like, oh, wow, this is really neat. See, they should do this. They should bring back all old movies. I'll see them. But anyway, moving on to the next topic. Now, you guys have heard about the whole controversy over Across the Spider-Verse. So, you know, the movie came out, people really liked it, did really well, so, you know, big hurrah for that film. But then there came out this really nasty expose that apparently a lot of the visual effects artists and the animators just weren't treated very well. And approximately 100 artists had to leave the film due to poor working conditions. And these poor working conditions included having to redo finished work 5 times and potential 11-hour days for 7 days a week. Let me repeat, 11-hour days for 7 days a week. Yeah, that's pretty rough. Very, very rough. I hope they were at least compensated well enough, though according to the article, it doesn't sound like they were. Well, according to Phil Lord, who's one of the main creators and writers and minds behind the whole Spider-Verse franchise, he finally addressed these allegations. He hasn't really said anything about it, so this is his first real statement on the whole thing. And this is what he said. That was a really hard movie to make. We're really proud of how hard everyone worked. It was very demanding, but we're really just proud of the crew. So to me, this is a non-answer. This is I don't want to say anything too controversial. I don't want to say anything that's going to rock the boat, but also I'm not going to say, yeah, we mistreated them. To me, this sounds like he's justifying how hard everyone had to work because of how good the movie turned out. So my question to you guys is, how do you feel about this? Are you in the mind that, no, how they treated them was wrong and they should have treated them better? Or are you like, oh, they just had to work to get the work done? As long as they were compensated, it's fine. How do you feel about this? Do you think Phil Lord is a bit, I don't know, I would almost say, like, I would say this statement almost treats the whole allegations like it's not really a big deal. Do you think he's right in that or not? Oh, thank you, Natanya. Nicholas says, did their pay reflect that gratitude? I'm not really sure. Again, they didn't really give a lot of details on the pay, but I would hope so. Oh, Quiet Rabbit just became a member. Thank you so much, Quiet Rabbit, for becoming a member. Really appreciate it. Oh, Glitchmation says this is worse than the Miranda Sings apology. Ouch. That is like the lowest of the low for apologies. Dang. Calvin King says it doesn't sound like they were paid enough. Way too much overtime pay would be needed. Yeah, I mean, I highly doubt they were paid enough, because if they were paid enough, the budget for this movie would have been a lot more. So yeah, I can't confirm, but I'm willing to bet they were not paid enough. Oh, Eric says, I think I am the only one who disliked this movie. Why did you dislike it? Now, I'll say I don't think it's like a 10 out of 10 movie like a lot of people do, but I still think it's very, very good. Like, maybe at least like an 8.5. Like, that's probably what I'd give this movie. Maiden says, hi everyone, I haven't been able to catch the streams lately because of the change schedule. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Maiden. I really am, but I'm glad that you could come today. Star Film Studio says, I don't know, I think he's in the middle. Okay. So you think, what, you think he's both right and wrong? I don't know. Tegan and Hoperoni says, no movie is worth such suffering and exploitation, it's just a movie. That's where I fall. I feel like, yeah, you're obviously going to have to work really hard to make sure the movie is as good as it can be. But if you can still make sure that everyone does like 5 rewrites or 5 revisions if that's what it takes. Just make sure you give them the time and the money to do that and still go home and have a full night's rest and see their family. Which just sounds like to me what they really need to do is give people more time to work on the movie. Which also would increase the budget, which is why they don't want to do that. Which is again why the visual effects artists and animators everywhere really need to strike. Erica says, I went to school for animation and how the animators were treated sounds typical. Oh no, that's awful. I hate that, like, artists everywhere are just mistreated. That really sucks. Mickey says, I don't know why, but do you guys get this feeling where you watch a movie and it's too good to watch it again or only in theaters? Oh, I've had that. I've had movies that I've loved, like really loved, that I just couldn't watch again, either because it was too intense or too emotional. Like, I've had that before. You're not alone, Eric. Frankie says, exactly, give them more time and compensation. Yeah, if they need to do 10 rewrites, okay, fine, just give them the time and compensation to do 10 rewrites. I'm not saying, like, you shouldn't make them work too hard, it's just treat them well. Like, that's really all I'm saying. But anyway, I had to bring this up. Oh, thank you, Fod Fareed. Eat the studios. Oh, Natanya. I mean, you're right, though. Eat the studios. Okay, moving on to the next topic. So, it's another rumor. Again, this comes from My Time to Shine. I'm reporting from them mainly just because there isn't a lot of news right now, so I'm just covering what people are talking about online, at least. And so a lot of people were talking about the fact that maybe Sam Raimi could direct the next Avengers film. Well, not the next Avengers film, but Avengers Secret Wars. And I'm kind of mixed on this. I like Sam Raimi. Like everyone else, I love the first 2 Spider-Man films. Obviously, I grew up on them. But at the same time, he's not infallible. I didn't like Multiverse of Madness, and I didn't like Spider-Man 3. So, and I think the common thread between Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man 3 is that he was given too much to do and given too much to juggle. When he can just focus on doing, like, a simple character story with just a few characters, I think he's really, really good. Otherwise, when he's given too many characters, I feel like he really struggles with that. So, I'm a little mixed on this. What do you guys think? Oh, thank you, Evil Connor. Burning Daylighter says, I hated Multiverse so much. I just can't bring myself to watch it again. I love Sam Raimi, but not this. To be honest, when I was watching Multiverse of Madness, like, I could see the Raimi-isms, I could see, I could see his voice, I could see his aesthetic, and it was fine. It just didn't feel like it meshed well with the MCU. It just felt so jarring to me, which is weird because I like Sam Raimi-isms in other Sam Raimi movies. But when it was in this movie, in a Marvel movie, it just felt jarring and out of place to me. And there were certain times in the movie where I I almost laughed out loud because I thought it was so corny. Like the entire third act of that film with Doctor Strange. Spoilers, by the way, for Multiverse of Madness. But the entire like third act with Doctor Strange when he turns into that weird zombie thing, um, and he's like got half his face open or whatever, and he's making this like weird speech to the America girl, and I'm just like, that whole scene was cringy AF to me. Like, I thought it was really bad. So I, even as much as I really like some of Sam Raimi's work, I don't know if he's the right one for this. Oh, well, sir, you 100% agree. I'm glad. Fod Farid says there was a ton of cameos from Raimi's past movies in Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, there were. Mickey says, hey, Brittany, there have been rumors of an Elemental 2 or a Disney Plus show for what are your thoughts? I think a Disney Plus show for Elemental would do really well, actually. I could see them doing that. The America Girl. I'm sorry. You know who I was talking about. Hi, Rusty. Deacon and Hopperoni says he's got to aware of his own Raimiisms. He was his own tribute act in Doctor Strange. Yeah. Fod Farid says America Chavez is the worst character in the MCU. Not the worst. Why is she the worst? I don't think she did enough to even be the worst. Like, I feel like there was so much going on in that movie. They were trying to introduce us to the America character, trying to make us care about her, but, like, she was just kind of used as a plot device, so, like, you couldn't really connect to her. Maybe we'll see her again, and maybe they'll find a way to make us, I don't know, care about her more, but for now, I'm just like, about her. Oh, you guys really like my shirt. Thank you. I have not seen Bottoms yet, no. Eric says, have you heard the Snow White news? Rachel is fighting with the director, Gal Gadot, and the actor who plays Jonathan. Oh, scandalous. No, I have not. Oh, I love drama. Okay. I'll look it up after the stream. Is this true? Or is this just a rumor, though? Semi Charm says, not a fan of America because she made Doctor Strange a background actor in his own movie. I don't think America made Doctor Strange a background actor. I think Wanda made him a background actor. Wanda 100% took over that movie. That became the Scarlet Witch movie. Doctor Strange was just second. Nick just says, it's sad when I get America and Miss Marvel confused. There's too many characters and they're all like we have so few like A-tier superheroes left in the MCU that everyone cares about. And then way too many like B, C, D tier characters that no one cares about. And I think they've got to like switch that. There apparently is there a lot of drama. I don't know. Yana says Multiverse of Madness was the only movie I went to see in person ever. I never paid to see a single Marvel movie before that. Why did you go see Multiverse of Madness but no other Marvel movie? Did someone drag you to it? Like, did someone make you do that? Alright, well, I had to just... should I do a poll? I haven't done a poll yet. What do you guys think about Sam Raimi possibly doing Secret Wars? Let's do the poll. On Secret Wars. Alright. I'm gonna say... yes, he'll do great. And then, no, he's not the right fit. And then, maybe, not sure. And then, maybe not. No, that's it. Just the three options. Okay, adding the poll now. Nick, yeah, it was a huge disappointment. Jessica H. says, I agree, too many characters to keep up with. Yeah. Connor does not care. Interesting. Maybe that should have been one of the choices. Yana says, she's my favorite character and they handled it well. Oh, Wanda? Oh, I love Wanda. I wish they would bring her back. I don't know what the heck they're doing with her. I feel like Wanda has to be, like, top 5, one of the most popular Marvel characters left, and they're just sitting on her. Like, what are they gonna do? Walser Cabin says, we need a Wanda movie. Exactly. People keep asking for the Wanda movie. Burning Daylighter says it became the Let's Ruin Wanda movie. Oh, so not everyone liked it because of how Wanda was portrayed in that film. She was very different from how she was in WandaVision. That's true. Going to the poll, 52% of you are a maybe, so you're on the fence like I am. And then 35% of you are saying no. 13% of you are saying yes. So that's a very small percentage. A lot of you are not like super excited about this, so that's interesting. I'm really curious as to why Kevin Feige is so quick to work with people that didn't really like have a home run the first time. Like he keeps going with the Rick and Morty writers, and now he's gonna go with Raimi again after Mom got such a mixed reception. I don't know. You would think they'd be doing like everything dramatically different just to turn the ship around, but it doesn't seem like it. Anyway, ending the poll. Thank you everyone who participated in it. So moving on to the next topic. So now we're talking about Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. What did Jimmy do? Is Jimmy becoming the next Ellen DeGeneres? Let's see. So 16 former employees described The Tonight Show as a pretty glum atmosphere where they were belittled and intimidated by their bosses, including Jimmy Fallon. Employees said they were afraid of Fallon's outbursts and his erratic behavior. But it gets worse. It gets worse. Former Tonight Show boss Jamie Granite Betterman bullied staff constantly, asking one black employee what is going on with their hair, which is a big no-no, especially as a black woman. She would bully the staff's food. We're just eating a lot today and not caring what we look like. Oh, could you imagine someone saying that to you and just like walking away? How awful. Oh no, what is this? Was that everything? Oh, there's a third one. Where'd it go? I don't know. But there's an entire article that's just an expose on Jimmy Fallon and the apparent toxic workplace culture. It reminds me a lot of when the accusations about Ellen DeGeneres were coming out, because it's all about how he's really mean and how like people feel really intimidated around him, and he was kind of a jerk to his crew, and you know, the same kind of stuff you heard about Ellen. And I'm just wondering, with all this stuff coming out, what is going to happen to him. With Ellen, if you guys remember, there was such a huge backlash against her, she just decided to leave the show. So is Jimmy going to retire? Are they going to kick him out? Is nothing going to happen? I don't know. What do you guys think? Little Boozy Bert says erratic behavior sounds like a typical comedian. I mean, you're true. To be honest, some of this stuff, even though it does sound like he has a pretty jerkish personality and like, no, I would not want him to be my boss, but like, nothing here is like he committed a crime or assaulted anyone. Nothing like that. Oh yeah, and there was also lots of accusations in the article about how people could smell alcohol on him in the morning and how he would come into work hungover, and how sometimes he'd just be like drunk at work, so maybe he has a bit of an alcohol problem. So that was something else that also came out. So yeah, nothing good. Nothing good. Evil Connor says, and isn't he on the new podcast with all the late night hosts? Yeah, I wonder what they're thinking right now. This has got to be real awkward for them. Oh, Jax is on Jimmy's side. Okay. Eric says, wait, Ellen doesn't have the show anymore? No, she left. They're giving that show now to Drew Barrymore. I think that's who is going to have that main slot now. Walser says, Ellen, James Corden, Jimmy Fallon, talk show hosts are highly paid and kind of doubt they're high in ratings. Yeah, the whole late night television space has been declining for a while now. I think the whole point of what late night used to do was like tell people the news, but in like a comedic, entertaining fashion. Now you can get that kind of content literally anywhere. So you don't really need Jimmy Fallon or one of the late night Jimmys to tell you the news, because you've already heard it like 10 hours ago on Twitter, you know? They can't really give you anything up to date anymore. They're just kind of covering stuff you already heard about. So because of that, I think the whole late night format is already kind of irrelevant. And as we're hearing more and more about this just nasty behavior from these guys, the strikes keeping all of these shows down anyway, I don't know. I think when the strikes are over, we probably will see a lot fewer of these shows actually return. Because the other Jimmy, Jimmy Kimmel, he just said that he was already thinking about retiring even before the strike started. So who knows? Who knows? I think the late night segment of just that whole type of TV show just might go the way of the dinosaur. We'll see. How do you feel about this, though? Oh, Travis says, always had bad feelings of Jimmy. Yeah, a lot of people say that. You always talk about, whenever you see someone talk about Jimmy, it's always like, I just have a bad feeling about that guy. And I think a lot of people maybe just picked up on some of maybe the fakeness. That people often say that he's fake, so maybe he's just pretending to be a nice guy on screen because in real life, he's clearly not a nice guy. Oh yeah, Eric, I have seen the Oprah and Rock video. Oh. Why do billionaires keep asking people for money? They need to learn that's not going to go over well anymore. Okay, Mickey, Jimmy really has fallen. You guys are funny. Sounds like most of you guys are just, ready for his downfall. Let's do a poll. Alright. So how do you guys feel about the Jimmy Fallon situation? Are you still on Jimmy's side? I guess that's the question. How do you feel about Jimmy now? I'm gonna say, I still like him. I'll do never liked him. And then a third option, which is this changes everything. And then a fourth option for I need to hear more. Because these are just accusations. We don't know anything yet. All right. Adding the poll. Oh, you're watching with chips. You guys are you got the popcorn out. You guys are enjoying his downfall. Dang. Frank says, bye, Jimmy. Okay. The Audra Rain says Jimmy just gives bad vibes. Yeah, everyone says that. And you know what's funny? During the early stages of lockdown, when all of the late night hosts had to do their show out of their houses, I actually watched some of the clips on YouTube just because I was curious to see what a late night show would look like from their house. And I have to say, Jimmy Fallon's videos were the best out of all of the late night hosts that did it. Because he had his family in it more, he had his daughters. There was one segment where he was sleeping in a tent. I actually found him very personable. That was the first and only time where I thought Jimmy Kimmel seemed like a decent dude. And then this comes out, so maybe it was all still a facade. But yeah, that's the last time I really paid attention to Jimmy Kimmel, or Jimmy Fallon, I should say. Did anyone watch those pandemic sessions? They were crazy. We were literally watching Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Seth, all the people literally live streaming from their houses. It was so weird. Going to the poll, 44% of you never liked him, so this doesn't change a thing for you. While 31% of you need to hear more. That's fair. We don't know everything. This is all just he said, she said at this point. 14% said this changes things, so maybe you used to like him, but now you look at him different. 13% of you still like him, so this doesn't change anything. You still think he's a good guy. So you guys are pretty much all over the place. I kind of like that. You're very split on this. Interesting, but a good majority of you just never liked him anyway. That's fair. That seems to be the case for a lot of people. Ending the poll. Hidden name. Okay, you also watched the at-home stuff. Oh, Conan also was pretty good, yeah. Patrick says Seth Meyers is way funnier and has better political social critique. I actually agree. Out of all the late night people, I probably like Seth the most. I agree. Louis, I don't really watch them all, to be honest. I used to watch their YouTube clips, but I don't even watch those anymore. Mikey says, wow, 10% still like him. I know, that's still pretty high, right? He has a fan base. I mean, his show has been on for a long time. Kasaki says Fallon's laugh are so fake it doesn't like his guest talk. Yeah, people always talk about his laugh doesn't sound real, and to be honest, it doesn't. So, Maybe this was all just a long time coming. Maybe. Eric wants a late night show with Taylor Swift. I don't think she would do that. And to be honest, I don't think that's her skill set. Alright, moving on. So we're gonna go to, so a bit of, oh wait, no, hold on, sorry. Before we get to the strike news, I do want to get to the member question. Because it's about Jimmy Fallon. So I asked my members, again, everyone, if you are a member, thank you for being a member. It really does support the channel. If you want to be a member, please press the join button at the bottom of the screen. But I asked my members today, what do you think about Jimmy Fallon? What do you think of the drama? What do you think will happen to the future of The Tonight Show? So M82123 says, I didn't even know there were accusations about him, but honestly, I'm not surprised. I think late night shows might eventually die out, but who knows? Yeah, I think, as I just said, I think we're witnessing the death of late night shows, to be honest. I think it's just an old, outdated format at this point. DD says, I don't think anything will happen to him, honestly. Like, nothing truly happened to Ellen. Ellen chose to retire her show, but it's not as if she's in danger of never working again. The same thing will happen to Jimmy. In fact, I'd be shocked if Jimmy even left The Tonight Show. Oh yeah, I don't think Jimmy's going anywhere unless they fire him. And I don't think this is big enough to fire him. They might give him a warning. I think Jimmy might have to do a bit of, like, PR damage when the show comes back to, like, fix his image. But honestly, I don't think, unless he chooses to leave, I don't see many consequences coming his way, unfortunately. Rachel Reads Romance, thank you for being a member, says, Hollywood has gotten so toxic that I'm not surprised anymore. Yeah, that's kind of sad, right? But it is disappointing. I'm only surprised when a celeb doesn't have any scandals attached to them. It's starting to sound like you can count on one hand the amount of, like, unproblematic celebrities in Hollywood. Like, who's unproblematic? I feel like Tom and Zendaya are pretty unproblematic, which is why everyone likes them so much. But who else? It's getting to be a pretty small list, unfortunately. Cheetah Viper, thank you so much for being a member, says, I didn't know there was anything going on with them. Well, it was trending on Twitter all day. Maybe it wasn't, like, a huge story yet, but I'm glad I'm telling you about it now. John Mua says, so Fallon got moody and abrasive sometimes. That's showbiz. Okay, so we have a differing opinion here. Jay Leno was the best replacement for Johnny Carson. They both made the show about the guests instead of themselves. Fallon, Letterman, and O'Brien all used their guest as props for their comedy. So you're just thinking this is pretty much like how most people act in Hollywood. Honestly, you're probably not wrong. I think the reason why these accusations are coming out at all is because there seems to be a shift away ever since Me Too to just, like, call out people for bad behavior. Like, people just aren't going to accept, like, bad behavior long term anymore. So I think that's why this is happening at all. So you're probably right. This probably is very common. But he's the one getting called out for it now. Thank you for being a member, though. I'm Kai says, this is the first time I'm hearing about Jimmy, but this is nothing new. James Corden has been called out, and I do believe his show is ending. But he's got multiple opportunities, and the continuation of his show in the midst of the controversies. Yeah, James Corden, he has nothing but, like, bad, like, any rumor about James Corden of someone meeting him in real life, it's always negative. Like, literally anyone who meets him is like they had a bad experience with them, but he still works. I'm starting to feel like all of these nighttime shows, like, all these guys are kind of secretly bad people except for maybe Seth. Because, like, why are we finding out all of these terrible drama about them, like, behind the scenes? I don't like it. Mary Lynn Cherry says, I don't know what happened, haven't heard anything. Well, now you know. Thank you for being a member. Nicholas Wilson says, it almost seemed to be normal for these shows and presenters. Exactly what I'm saying. It's just happening a lot now. Natanya says, is this another Ellen situation? It might be. I think it only, like, will fully become an Ellen situation if he actually leaves, though, which I don't think he will. And then Amphibia Lover says, no, not at all. So you don't even care about Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon. See, I keep calling him Kimmel because all the Jimmys are just the same to me. But anyway, thank you everyone who is a member. Thank you for commenting. Really appreciate it. All right. Oh, Ian says Seth is so snide. So maybe not even Seth is a nice guy. Are they all just kind of secretly jerks then? CW says, why did we import James Corden? Why did we import him? That's so funny. It's so crazy. Like, seeing James Corden's career, because the first time I ever saw the guy is when he had a guest spot on Doctor Who, like 10 plus years ago. And I had no idea he would turn into this major star, and now he's everywhere and annoys the crap out of people. It's very, very crazy to me. Ellie says the unproblematic people just don't speak as much or put themselves out there to be picked apart. I'd say they're neutral. We don't know these people and their true character. That's very true. Honestly, just assume everyone in Hollywood's in the shade of gray. For real, though. Hollywood's a rough place. But anyway. Oh, Burning Daylighter, your comment didn't come up? Okay, let me see. Hold on. Did I miss it? Oh, there it is. Okay. I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed. I don't understand why people in authority that make so much money off the backs of hardworking people think it's okay to disrespect the people that work for them. It's extremely disgusting and disappointing. You're a multi-millionaire. You should be happy and said money maker. Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying. It's like once these people reach a certain level of success and money and fame, they just start seeing anyone beneath them as lesser than. I think that's why they end up becoming such jerks. It's unfortunate, but it happens to a lot of people in Hollywood. Thank you for the comment. All right, now moving on to the strike news. This is kind of sad. Very sad. Not The Nun. Why are we looking at The Nun? We're looking at this article here from The Hollywood Reporter. Because, unfortunately, remember that comment that one of the executives of the studio said that they're basically waiting for everyone to lose their homes and become homeless before they end the strikes? Well, unfortunately, it's looking like that's already starting to happen. Because there's this huge report in The Hollywood Reporter saying that they're seeing a record number of evictions because people just can't work right now. And I think that's very, very sad. And I think we are seeing really, truly the beginnings of the end for this industry. I mean, not only is it just super sad that people don't have a place to go, and this whole strike could be adding to California's already horrible homeless problem, but it also means that when the strikes are actually done and people can go back to work, who's going to be there to work? Because there's going to be so many people who either just can't work anymore because they're in such bad shape financially that either they're homeless or maybe they had to leave because they could no longer afford to live there. So now you're going to also have like a talent drain. So all like the talent people who otherwise could have stayed to work in the industry but had to leave because they couldn't afford it. So you're also draining your potential pool of people to even work with. So it's all just a spiral of disaster, and it's really tragic and sad. Yeah, I had to bring this up because we have been talking about the strikes, but there are the sad realities of it as well. Brianna Does Art says, this is horrible. All this could have been avoided if the studios aren't run by scumbags. And that's the thing. Again, this is all on the studios. The writers and the actors want to come to the table to renegotiate, but the studios are literally saying no to purposely starve them out so that they can give in to their demands and not have to like give in to what the actors and writers are saying. This is all intentional. It is the studios literally just being like jerks to people. Velvet says, could you imagine ending up homeless after you made a blockbuster movie? And that's happening to a lot of people right now. People who worked on, movies that made $1 billion are living in their cars right now on the street of LA. And that's really effed up. Yeah. Sag strong, says Joe. Nicholas says, freaking tech bros took over Hollywood. I think they're just in the beginning of taking over Hollywood. I don't even think they've taken over yet. Because with all these rumors of Apple buying up Disney, so basically Disney will end up being a tech company. And then you have, there are a lot of rumors also that Warner Brothers Discovery and Comcast Universal could team up. So there'll be some sort of weird mega conglomeration. And then you have Amazon and Netflix and all these other studios wanting to buy up the smaller studios like Paramount. And yeah, I see a total situation 5 years from now where really we don't really have regular studios. We have tech companies that have studios as a part of their company. That's where I think we're going. I think tech is just eating everyone up. It's very, very sad. Yeah. Sydney Charm says, yeah, it's so many people. Even if you're not a writer or an actor, everyone in the business is in this position. It's so sad. It is. Eric says, yeah, but actors like Rachel Zegler are paid millions per movie. She is still on strike. I don't think Rachel is getting paid millions per movie. She's still very new to the industry. I doubt she's even, like, super rich. Honestly, a lot of people aren't super rich in this industry unless they've been working a long time. I highly doubt Rachel Zegler's rich. Tegan and Halperoni says, report from Variety 12 minutes ago. I think Fallon has apologized to staffers. Oh, is there breaking news? Hold on. Wait a minute. We got breaking news. Let me see. Did Fallon apologize? Oh, he does. Okay, interesting. What did he say? Jimmy Fallon apologizes to staffers. Hold on. Jimmy Fallon apologizes to staffers following a report of toxic workplace behavior. It's embarrassing and I feel bad. Oh, how fascinating. Thank you for letting me know. Apparently he had a Zoom meeting with his employees. Okay. He said, sorry if I embarrassed you and your family and friends. I feel bad and I can't even tell you. I want the show to be fun. It should be inclusive for everybody. It should be funny. It should be the best show, the best people. Oh, dang. So he had to go and make a whole Zoom call to apologize to his staff in person. Interesting. Also, they're going over some of the allegations here, and I didn't even mention one of the worst ones. Apparently, the show has a cry room where they send employees to go cry if they're having, like, a really super stressful day. So, like, that's how toxic of an environment it is. They have an entire room that they send people to just go cry. It's called the cry room. So, I don't know if just these comments of, oh, I'm sorry if I embarrassed you is really gonna cut it if it was really that bad. I don't know. Do you guys accept his apology? What do you guys think? Oh, DJ, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Sorry I'm late. I grew up thinking all actors were millionaires. This strike has blown my mind. Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people are realizing that. It is very true. Most people in Hollywood are not millionaires. Yeah, I know. How evil do you have to have a cry room for your employees? Like, what? And he definitely knew about it. So I don't know why it's all like, oh, I didn't know you guys were having a tough time. Because that's honestly what this apology sounds like to me. But he definitely had to have known. So I don't know if I buy it. What do you guys think? Do you buy this apology? Kisaki says, it sounds like they do more than an average workplace. Most jobs don't have cry rooms. That's awful. We shouldn't need cry rooms. Brianna Does Art says, can I have a cry room? I would like a room dedicated to crying. No, why? I hope you're okay, Brianna. Rita says, I've worked in places with unofficial cry rooms. Oh, I'm so sorry, Rita. Oh, man. So, should I do a poll? Do you guys accept this apology? Because I don't know. It sounds like he's trying to play the whole denial game. Like, oh, I didn't know it was this bad. But he definitely knew. He definitely knew. All right. Do you buy this apology? I'm going to say, yeah, it seems authentic. And then, no, I don't buy it. And then, always a maybe, because some people are in between. All right, so there we go. Flawed Fareed says, I'm not going to be able to stay tomorrow because of school. Oh, I'm sorry about that. This will be the live stream. Sorry, Flawed Fareed. I'll see you on Monday, though. Oh, Velvet says his show should be funny, but it's not. Okay, well, you're not wrong there. I honestly don't even think a lot of his sketches are that funny. Like, they come across really cringy to me. Oh, Natanya says it's giving YouTuber apology. Oh. I like how YouTubers have such a bad reputation for giving terrible apologies. But it's very true. Velvet says the film The Crime Room for OnlyFans. What? What are you talking about? John Doe Jane Doe says, I think workplaces need punching bags with full training and gear provided. Do what, just to get out stress? Hey, maybe that could work, who knows? Going to the poll. So 67% of you are not buying the apology. Yeah, I don't think so. He's definitely playing the, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize. This is embarrassing. This sucks. I didn't realize. Like, no. You knew. He knew. He definitely knew. 24% of you are maybe. So you're on the fence. I always knew there's like an on the fence crowd. 8% of you are like, yes. So that's a very small percentage of you that think this is actually a sincere apology. And again, I think that's just part of his reputation of knowing, like, he's known for being fake, so that doesn't help, but I don't know. I don't buy this apology. Ending the poll, though. Thank you for letting me know there was an update. That was fun. I haven't had breaking news live on air before. Alright. Getting back to the strike question, though. Where'd it go? Okay. I also wanted to just bring this up really quick, because it just ties into the whole thing that we're talking about, where the people just are not getting paid for stuff that is successful. So I've mentioned at least a couple days ago that Suits has actually become like a really big hit on Netflix. In fact, it is the first series ever to cross 3 billion minutes viewed over 7 weeks in a row, according to Nielsen. So this is a massive success. But because of how streaming is done and how people get paid, even though Suits is such a huge success, the actors in that show will probably hardly get anything. Netflix is going to get all the benefit from that, and actors are going to get nothing. Again, why people are striking. So I wanted to bring this up because it's just a prime example of, again, why people are striking, and why, even though it's really tough right now and it's horrible that people are losing their houses, why people still think it's important to strike in the first place, because people are literally fighting for their livelihoods. If they give in to what the studios want now, especially with stuff like AI, they can just kiss their jobs goodbye. I mean, within like 5-10 years, AI could do their job. So yeah, they have to do this because of stuff like this, even though it's really tough right now. Anyone watch Suits? Is it a good show? I haven't even seen it yet. I just know I've heard of it because of the, of course, Meghan Markle. Never seen Suits. A lot of people have never seen Suits. Oh, the Free Rocket Man did. So did Words. Okay. Is it actually good? Apparently people are loving it because people are watching it a lot. Oh, Mickey, I'm glad that you like my show so much. Jaden's Toy says my mom watches that show. It seems like that kind of show that your mom watches. That's true. Alright, that's the last bit of strike news. I have one piece of WTF news for the day, and then that's the last thing I had for the stream. And it's this monstrosity. What is this? What are those? These are Shrek Crocs, and they are an abomination against God. What are these? I'm sorry. The Crocs are already ugly. I mean, I own several pair of Crocs, so I am a Croc wearer, and I will admit they're pretty ugly. But then you add, Shrek ears and a nose and the ugly color and then the furry back. And it's like, these have to be some of the ugliest shoes to ever shoe. So I had to show you this because this is definitely WTF news for me. Anyone would watch this? Anyone into the Shrek Crocs? Because, have at it, but they're not for me. They're just not for me. Yeah, the nose is really creepy. I think the nose is the worst part. Louis Cochran says, did you hear the little T rumors? What? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm glad we can all agree these are absolutely hideous. So I see not one person would wear these. You guys want to do a poll? No one would wear these. I don't see not one of you defending them. Brianna says, Brittney, please, where can I buy the Crocs? Why do you want these, Brianna? No, okay, well, fine. I'll end the stream by doing a poll since you guys love it so much. Who wants the ugly Crocs? All right, who wants the ugly Crocs? I'm literally wording it like that. I'm gonna say me, and then I'm gonna say never, and then the last option is I have taste. All right, so adding the poll. think you guys know my option. Burning Daylighter says, let's last wish these out of existence. Yeah, I wish my eyes never saw them. Rachel says, I'd wear them around the house. My cats would have a blast attacking the ears and nose. This is definitely an around the house occasion for sure. Oh God. Y'all, this poll is not real. Y'all are not being serious. 31% of you want these. 30% of you would walk around in the street, in public, wearing these. 30%. You guys are pulling my leg. 32% of you are saying never. And then 39% of people are like me, are saying, I have taste, so no. So thank you. At least the majority of you have sense. I mean, I kid, sort of. But, you know, at least 32% of you are just going to have a lot of fun wearing those around the house, I think, hopefully. Anyway, ending the poll. Angel Barrera, thank you so much for the super chat. Gonna pull up to the club in my Shrocks. Not Shrocks. Shrocks? You just made me hate these shoes even more. How did you do that? Shrocks? No, that makes them even uglier. I hate that. Okay. Anyway, that was the last bit of news I had for today. Thank you everyone who showed up. I really appreciate you guys coming here each and every day at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It really means a lot to me. Tomorrow, of course, is Friday, so we meet at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're able to make it, I'll see you then. If you can't, I'll see you on Monday. But thank you everyone who came here. This was a really fun stream today. And somehow we found an hour worth of stuff to talk about. I don't know how I keep doing this. Some days, I don't know. I'm just like, there's nothing to talk about. And then somehow we find something to talk about. So, I guess I just like talking to you guys. But anyway, that's the end of the chat for today. I'll see you guys. Bye.